don't say anything, I'm a freaking dumbass. If I don't say anything, like I am a worthless leader in this young man's life.
I didn't wake up on time, and you're like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? And you're like, it's 9 a.m. You're supposed to be up an hour ago. And if you can't hold your end of the line of like doing that kind of discipline, you're going to be fired if you do that with your job.
I want to serve, connect. And I think at times, like, maybe I've missed the boat on like being more disciplinary. Some of us will go towards the extreme of like, I just want my kid to like me and I want to be friends and that kind of thing. And we really miss out on the parenting. What's up, Ethan? How you doing, brother?
What's up? I'm doing great, actually. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. Up and early. Like, I don't know. What time did you go to bed last night?
Oh, man, probably a little bit after midnight. I had Megan staying over for a little bit. Watched some fireworks last night in our neighborhood. You remember that?
Yeah, because I was awake. I only think I got 5 hours of sleep. So those of you guys, this is coming out obviously the middle of July, but this is recorded actually on 4th of July. But
Yes.
We celebrate the 4th in our neighborhood on the 3rd.
It's weird, but it was a really good show.
It was amazing. So, hey, let's get right to it today, guys. What we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about the friendship gap, right? The friendship gap between father and son, father and daughter, father kid. This is something that I think we blur the lines on, or we don't really know, what those boundaries should truly look like, right? Some of us will go towards the extreme of like, I just want my kid to like me and I want to be friends and that kind of thing. And we really miss out on the parenting, right? And we really miss out on the leadership and even the coaching. We can also swing way too far to the parenting side and not really create a connection or a relationship with our kids. And let's talk about this in context with Ethan here, which is Ethan's 19 years old. So obviously he's older, he's a man. And now, what does that look like? What does it look like over the years for he and I? What does it look like now? And even as a dad, like I'm trying to figure this one out myself. So this is going to be a really cool exploratory conversation between Ethan and I around, things that from the past, but also things from current state. So those of you guys that have little kids, don't count yourself out with this show, because there have been different things and different ways that I've had to do this over the years. And we're going to go through how I did it right and how I got it wrong from time to time. So, but hey, before we jump into today, let's give a shout out to Phorm. You're drinking an orange smash today.
Fury, you mean?
Or I'm sorry, Orange Fury. Yeah, Orange Fury. Yeah. So what do you think of that?
By far, my favorite one, actually.
Yeah?
This is a new flavor, right?
That's a new flavor, yeah.
Yes, this is by far, it literally tastes exactly like an Orange Crush. Like, I know you were saying, like, the Orange Sunrise, that other orange flavor that they have, or tastes pretty similar to. That one is, like, almost identical. It's very cool.
It is. I do like that one just a little better. Grape Smash is still my jam, because I'm just like, I just love grape. But yeah,
I know you love grape.
I do. But guys, a couple of things I want to share here about just Phorm in general, just some of the things that I take on a daily basis. Start over my morning is always the same. I take microfactor, I take creatine, I take an electrolyte stick. I want to get hydrated, 32 ounces of water in the morning, along with creatine, along with my microfactor. That is key. Microfactor, man, it's a nutrient dense pack. It's got everything that I need, all my micronutrients, even prebiotics, but just helps keep my gut healthy, my brain fresh, and overall just healthy. I know like a lot of us think that we can get all of our nutrients from food. Our food today actually has less nutrients than it did 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that's because of the soil. That's because of, pesticides and herbicides that they use. So getting microfactor in as a supplement is something that I do not take lightly. In a pinch, the beef sticks, man, those are a lifesaver as far as protein, because I prioritize protein. I also take Formula One. I make that into ice cream. I absolutely love that stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing.
They're level 1 bars. There's 2 of them, the cookie dough and the chocolate peanut butter. I usually have one of those a day. And if I want more whole food, they've got those pro bars that are just absolutely amazing. Those are made from Whole Foods. But here's what I want to share with you guys. I've been kind of immobile as it relates to being able to get my steps in, get cardio in. And the past 2 months, with rehabbing my knee, I'm like, what can my diet do? Like, what can eating clean and taking my supplements actually do? And I'm shocked. I get my body fat tested every single month. I actually go to Supplement Superstores here, which is owned by Andy Frisella as well. It's their other company. It's their brick and mortar here. And I get an inline body scan. My latest as of June 30th was 5.3% body fat.
That is insane.
It's pretty crazy. I'm pleasantly surprised, but like also my diet has been so dialed. Taking all those supplements, I mean, it's been a game changer. So I have lost a little bit of muscle. It's been in my legs, obviously, because I haven't been able to train legs. But it's amazing what the right supplementation and diet can actually do. I went from 181 pounds. I'm weighing in at 170 now. So I have lost 11 pounds. Some of that was muscle, but I can't really help that right now with my legs, especially my left one. But that's what the right diet, what the right supplementation will do. So if you guys ever have any questions about this, just hit me up on social media. I'm always posting like the progress of my recovery, and I do post progress pics. It isn't because I want to like show off. It's actually because it keeps me accountable. Like, no kidding around. Like, if I know I'm posting publicly what I'm doing and actually aesthetically what I look like, I don't deviate from my diet. I don't deviate from the things that I'm doing because I know that I have to hold myself accountable to the public. So that's why I actually do that. So check them out, guys. Go to go firstphorm.com/dad edge. That's one STPPHORM.com/dad edge. If you use our code, obviously that helps the podcast tremendously, especially this show. It also will get you free shipping on all orders over $75, and then it'll get you some other goodies as you spend more. $150 and then $250. They throw in t-shirts, they throw in energy drinks, they just throw in all kinds of different things if you spend just a little bit more. So, and again, it helps the show tremendously. So thank you guys for all you guys who are doing that. I mean, you can't go wrong with First Phorm. I've been a customer of theirs for 16 years, so I love it. But dude, let's talk about this show today. This whole friendship gap. So a couple of things that I think I want to actually let me just start out with some questions from you.
Okay.
Questions to you. What do you think happens when a dad is too much of a friend with his kid? In other words, like, doesn't want to disrupt the apple cart, doesn't want to have tough conversations at time to time, which is needed, doesn't want to give advice because it's uncomfortable. He just wants to be friendly. And he just wants to just quote unquote get along, like no matter what. Yeah. And he'll do anything to just make sure that he gets along. And one of the things that I'll add some context to this is there's a lot of guys out there that, and I'm included in this camp to some degree, where we were shown there was no connection really, and there was no relationship with parents. Like, it was very like authoritative. It was like, I'm your disciplinarian, and that's where our relationship stops and starts, versus like, let me connect with you. And so like my extreme over the years has always been, I want to serve, connect. And I think at times, like, maybe I've missed the boat on like being more disciplinary. And then there have been phases where I've done the opposite, where I've been way too much the disciplinarian and not enough the connection, and there's tension there. So can you think of a time where you felt like I wasn't challenging you maybe enough? Like I was letting you off the hook even too much, to the point you were just like, maybe not on a conscious level, but even on an unconscious level, like you were probably thinking like, I'm actually shocked Dad is like not saying anything about this, or he's just allowing me to get away with whatever. You think of a time like that?
Oh man, I don't know. There's a lot like that. Let me just think. Oh, I would say, oh man, I really don't know.
We can go to the flip question if you want.
Yeah, we can do that.
The times I've been way too die hard. Like, and it's all about authority. It's all about authority.
Honestly, I can only think of one time, and I've said it before. Well, as right now, this is the first thing that came to mind. But the first thing that came to mind, I've said this on the podcast before, is whenever I was in 4th grade and you were just like, like disciplining me to just get like better at school in fourth grade, so I wouldn't have to repeat it because I was very close to repeating it, and I felt no connection between us. Like we didn't even talk that much, and when we did, it was more of like a lecture.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute. So how long did that last? Like if you,
Probably from like maybe in the middle of fourth grade to like close to the end of fourth grade, probably. So like our school years last from like August to May. I would say roughly in between roughly October to like maybe beginning of May.
so pretty much like, 7 months,
Yeah.
7, 8 months. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, so basically after the first semester, you probably felt like the two, three, fourth semester, like it was die hard.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned in their lecture. Um, let's talk about that for a second. So what did that, how effective was that?
Well, it was effective, but it was also very, very repetitive of what you were like telling me what to do. Like I was having a hard time focusing in class. I was on medication to start focusing because, like I would just wander. Even like when you would talk to me, I would still kind of wander because I'd be like,
Yeah.
and then you like used to scare me a little bit when you would smack the table and be like, "Are you listening to me?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "No, you're wandering. I can see you're not looking at me. Are you even listening?" And it would scare me because like I couldn't help it. Like I would just wander like I just listen and all of a sudden squirrel. Like it was bad. It was really bad. But it was like you gotta focus, you gotta keep your mind like just you gotta stay focused or else you're gonna have to repeat the fourth grade. I can't believe I'm having this conversation with you this many times. Like it was really rough.
No, I hear you.
And even like with our school stuff, like you like I had to reteach you this thing like 7 different times because you kept forgetting how to do it. I just wasn't really good in school at that point.
No, I hear you. And when I was a kid, so like my stepdad, Joe Hagner, the guy who adopted me, when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, I used to call it, "Are we going to talk too longer?"
Too longer.
Yeah, too long. I used to call them too longer talks. And my dad and my mom used to actually get quite a chuckle on that because my dad was sit down at the table. I'll never forget where I sat at the table and where he sat. And that guy would go on and on and on and on and on. And it was a die-hard lecture. It was hard for me at that young age to compute. Like I didn't know it then, but like, I think around like that second, third, fourth, even fifth grade, like if we're talking too much, it's,
It's too much
it's too much
information. Yeah,
information,
it's like not really easy for someone at that age to really comprehend all those words because all they hear is you running your mouth and they're not really taking in the information.
Right. I agree. But you want to know something from a dad point of view? We feel like if we're not telling you enough, we're missing the boat. So like, it's almost like we want to stuff, like if we look at the conversation like a sack of potatoes, we want to stuff 40 pounds into a 20-pound bag because a lot of us think more is better, right? If I tell them more versus like, I don't want to tell them if I miss the boat on not telling them enough, well, that's a serious problem. I think we can flip in the other way though, and you just kind of proved it, which is if we talk too much, it's too much. It's like it's trying to fit 40 pounds of potatoes in a 20-pound bag.
Yeah, like it's not easy, especially with like I had like really bad ADHD. I'm not really using that as an excuse though because a lot of people have ADHD. It's a very common thing for people to have. But I was medicated for it. I in third grade I did great, and I was medicated. Like I had the medication, and I was taking it. I was really focused, but it also had really bad side effects. So during the day at school, I was really focused. I was engaged. I made the A honor roll in school, and and then when I come home, the side effects were mostly like anger, or I wasn't really hungry. Yeah, I have a really hard time sleeping. Oh my gosh, it was really bad. I can only remember times in our other house whenever I was that young of me having trouble sleeping.
We were really resistant on the whole medication thing. That was really pushed by your doctor, and but you weren't on it. I think it was after that year we took you off it.
Probably because, yeah, that sounds about right because, I had a really hard time focusing in school.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I know there's, and we're not going to turn this into whether you should medicate your kid show
Oh,
or
no, no,
not. But
no,
like,
no.
but I'll tell you, I think it's right for some kids. I think it's wrong for some kids. I do think it's overly used. Doctors just want to throw pills. A lot of times, and I think there's a lot of other natural things that we can do. Um, Going back to, so I love that perspective of like, basically, guys, here's the thing: if we're talking too much, it's too much,
Yeah,
right?
eventually they're gonna tune out.
Right.
Just wait for you to be done.
Exactly. But here's the other thing too, and I want you to know this. Just as is it, and you and I've recently talked about this. Just as it's uncomfortable for you to be in a lecture, I think most guys would agree is like, I really hate when I lecture. I really hate when I have to lecture. I think we even kind of use it as that have to button because it's not the most comfortable situation. We actually want, I think I speak for most dads, which is we really want the connection with you guys over the discipline, and then when we have to pull that discipline card, it's like a double frustration. We're frustrated at the kid because they're not doing what it is they're supposed to do, but we're also frustrated to the fact that we're just like, God, like if I have to lecture, does that mean I'm disconnecting? Does that mean like I'm hurting the relationship? And I think if you zoom out from it, in the moment it feels like that, but it's also like there hasn't been one person that I think I've interviewed on the podcast like who operates at a high level that didn't say like my dad or mom, doesn't really matter, when things were wrong, they would absolutely speak up. Like they would. And granted, sometimes the approach is not great, but they would speak up, right? But there was a balance between like there was love, yeah, but there was also like I knew what the boundaries were. But going back to even the first question, and if you don't have an answer for it, that's totally okay. And maybe if you don't, I can add some context of where I've seen this in our relationship versus you. But have you seen the opposite where I've been way too loose and it's just there's a part of you that I'm sure like maybe someone enjoys it, like wow, I have a lot of like sort of free range here, but there's also like the miss of structure and maybe it even comes across like, does dad even really see me right now? Or does dad like, is he connecting with me? Doesn't he kind of see like some things are going off the rails and he's not even saying anything about it? Hey, can you think of any times like that?
Actually, I think I have one. It's not really a specific moment. It's mostly when we go on vacation. You guys are pretty less lenient about our screen time or like how we like we don't get up early as much as we used to. But then after vacation, there are some times where we come back and we just are couch potatoes most of the time. Like for it could go on for a couple weeks. Like when we got back from our Utah trip last month, we were like, okay, we're done. We just got back from the trip. We're all tired and we don't want to do anything. And that lasted quite a bit. Like Moss and Colton, they were on iPads and TV, video games constantly. Me and Mason, we had a lot of phone time. Um, because he also had to leave early for football stuff, so he was already really exhausted from just everything, vacation and camp. And then me, I was like, I wasn't really disciplined like you. We started doing this thing where I would get up every day on a weekday if I wasn't working, at 8 a.m. and just getting my day started, like taking a shower, getting dressed, eating breakfast, making my bed, all that stuff.
Yeah, tasks to do too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got to the point like we're just like it just kind of felt weird because we weren't getting that kind of discipline or like that like let's get back into the track of things.
Right. The structure and the
Yeah,
routine.
yeah,
Yeah.
the routine because we're falling behind. I think even mom. slept in quite a bit, and she said that she's been sleeping really weird since she got back. But like she was like, I was like, what time did you get up? She's like 9:30. I was like, wow. Usually you get up at like 7, 8 o'clock. She's like, yeah, I slept in and now I feel blech.
Yeah.
So it was just we were just like we are like not really taking initiative of our like making our time like productive.
Right.
And so that's whenever I think a week and a half after we got back, I needed to do some things. I needed to find out volunteer work for the firehouse, getting CPR certified, um, getting a job. I finally got one, by the way.
Same job we were talking about last week or a couple weeks ago with the old school manners.
Really?
Yeah, the podcast that we recorded about old school manners just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and that released, and we were talking about how you went after that
That's
job,
right.
and by the way, he got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool so far. It's very high maintenance, but it's good. It's really good. I also didn't really pick the easiest industry with, and I also don't have all that experience, but they're just like, we'll just teach you. And I was like, okay. So I'm doing pretty good. They're doing really good at teaching me stuff. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I did what you were telling me to do. I started waking up at 8 a.m. There were a few times though where I wouldn't wake up on time. I think it was only once or maybe
I
twice.
think once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't wake up on time, and you're like, "What are you doing?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" And you're like, "It's 9 a.m. You're supposed to be up an hour ago." I was like, "I thought I could sleep in." And you're like, "No, you can't just sleep in. This is the routine we need to be on. And if you can't hold your end of the line of like doing that kind of discipline, you're gonna be fired if you do that with a real job."
Yeah. Yeah. It was the structure and the agreement. I was like, this is not what we agreed on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good to know. What did it feel like over time to have that structure so loose? Like, did you notice that? Was there a bit of anxiety that kind of set in? Was there a bit of like, I don't know what direction I should go in right now? It's a bit like, maybe even like I've heard it state like this, like almost like, I feel a bit paralyzed right now of what decisions to even make. So I'm just not gonna. It's kind of like Jim Gaffigan. It's like I should probably do. Never mind. But it's like if we don't have that structure, we feel a bit of paralysis of like just going into the void of doom scrolling or doing nothing, or just it's like we just don't know what to do. It's like we have nothing to do, so we do nothing.
My thing is whenever I do that for too long, I get really like I don't want to say depressed, but I feel very gloomy. Like
Yeah.
I'm so mentally fatigued. Like it literally like makes me feel like I feel awful, but I don't stop. I'm literally like so like gloomy, but I don't stop like scrolling. I don't figure out like, oh man, it's 3 p.m. and I still haven't showered yet. My bed isn't made. My room isn't clean. I don't feel like doing any of that though. I'm just gonna keep scrolling.
Well, and that's the other thing. Can we segue into this other bit of structure that we did? So, I would say I'm not going to give any detail, but Ethan's room is, I would say, like your kind of typical teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Which is like there's kind of, and then it's been, I will say this, when you were in school, especially when you're an athlete, 3/4 of the, or I would say extracurricular activities, 3/4 of the year. So your band, and you were in charge of the entire band this past year, which that's a huge responsibility. In the summertime, you have wrestling camps, you have band camp, you have a lot of things that have your attention. And I also know that it takes, for when you were in school, it took a lot of time and effort for you to buckle down and get grades. And, and then you were a wrestler, and that goes into almost March. And then you literally only have like 10 weeks of school left after that. So the majority of the school, there's like a full-time gig going on there, right? So there's tremendous structure and there's a lot of things going on. But the thing with So like we would allow things, like your room to be less than, average as far
Yeah,
as like
more of
cleanliness.
just like get the clothes off your floor,
Right.
put your dishes away,
But there was never any
trash
like,
emptied.
yeah, exactly. Like you did those basics, but it was like we didn't be like, hey man, you really need to gut your room. You still have clothes in there that you haven't worn since you were like 15, right?
Yeah.
Type thing. So, and then your car was kind of the same way. And then I remember like, when we first implemented this structure before we even had the job of like being up at 8 a.m., I was like, like, look, this is real life. We don't sleep until noon and then doom scroll and do all this stuff. Like there's going to be some structure. And one of the tasks that I had you do was completely gut your room, completely gut your car.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to do there. But I remember, I knew why that was important. And the thing that I had failed, and this is another like kind of fail thing, right? It's like, understand the why behind it. And I remember mom came up to me and she's like, Ethan came up to me today and he mentioned he doesn't know why he's getting up at 8 a.m. and he doesn't know why he has to do some of these tasks. And I sent you a video.
Yeah.
Do you remember that video?
Yeah, I know what video you're talking about. I'm having a hard time remembering what you were mostly saying.
So I'll bring it up here in a second. But basically, yeah, well, I'm looking for it here. Okay. So and you know what? I'll put this. I'm going to put this in the show notes, guys. So I'm going to copy this. But basically, here it is.
If your room looks anything like this, I got some bad news for you. You're pretty much destined for failure. 99% of people don't understand why.
Okay, so I'm going to let you listen to the rest of this here. This is a man talking about how rooms are messy. Okay, how environment is messy. Okay, and what this actually does to the psychology of our mind. So I'm actually going to start this over and I'm actually just going to put my phone right up to the mic so you guys can hear it.
If your room looks anything like this, I got some bad news for you. You're pretty much destined for failure. 99% of people don't understand why this is. Let me break it down. You see, the way your space is a direct correlation with how your mind works. So that pile of clothes in the corner, that's just a representation of delayed decisions. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not that serious. It's just a mess. But the truth is, your environment is constantly dictating your clarity, your focus, and your confidence. Even ancient civilizations knew this. Their cities and buildings had flow, structure, and order. I mean, you wouldn't leave a pile of junk in a place like this. So why is your space worth any less? I'm gonna keep it real with you. That mess is messing up your life. There are plenty of studies that prove that clutter destroys your focus. You can't build a meaningful life if you can't focus. That's just the facts. So if you want more out of life, the first step is taking care of the four walls that you sleep in.
Okay, so that's it. So basically, cluttered environment usually leads to cluttered mind, right? Indecision, fatigue, depression, anxiety. It's like, I'm not saying everything has to be like, you go with a white glove, right? Yeah. That was actually the environment I grew up in. Like, I mean, I know you think our standards are pretty high for cleanliness. Dude, if my room was a mess, like the wrath of God came down. Like, I mean, like if it would, I'll never forget this one time that I left I'm big on wet towels on the ground, because I
used to do that too.
I know I was raised that if you leave a wet towel on the ground, especially carpet, it's going to be bad. But I will never forget coming into my room. I think I was like 7 and I heard my name like, Larry, like, I mean, death scream. And I was like, oh my God, what? I went into my room and my mom pointed at a wet towel on the ground in my floor. And I'm like, how many times do I have to tell you to pick up your stuff? And wham, I got just a swat on the rear end that was like full on anger. And so obviously we're not like that in this house. However, we will remind you to be like, your stuff needs to be orderly. But now I do truly understand that, because a cluttered environment does usually lead to a cluttered mentality.
Yeah.
Right. So do you understand why now though?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I've actually noticed, like ever since, so my room is clean now. I'm just in the middle of organizing all my clothes and doing all my laundry and getting rid of a bunch of clothes that I don't need anymore. But I've noticed, like, man, my closet's organized, my desk is organized. I don't have so much stuff all over my dresser. Like, I feel good. Like, I feel like whenever I'm doom scrolling, even like I feel less gloomy because my environment looks so clean. Because I'm not like, oh, I really need to clean this. I'm like,
Right.
it's so clean in here. I don't need to really worry about that. But I'm still gonna get started on my day. You know?
Even like your car, when you get in your car now, like in your car, dude, props, man. Your car is spotless. It
Yeah.
looks so good.
I vacuumed it. I even wiped down some stuff because there's like stains everywhere
Yeah.
from like past like sodas, energy drinks, coffee from you.
How does it feel to get in your car now?
Feels so much better because I know like I won't have to worry about if someone needs a ride. I'm not like there's not a whole lot of room in the back. Like it was just a bunch of stuff like my backpack, water bottles from the gym, my gym bag, even like this. So whenever I graduated, finished my last day of high school, and we just finished graduation. We do this celebration called a lock-in, where we go to this place. It was like a place where they have like a pool and a basketball hoop and like a bunch of games everywhere. They actually had roulette tables and poker tables and blackjack tables just to play for fun. Obviously, no one gambled for money, but it was a lot of fun, and it was like a celebration. And I won a speaker on a raffle, and I left it in there like a dummy with all of my stuff in there.
It sounds really good though, because I used it the other night when I got in the hot
I
tub.
saw that because it was on top of my dresser instead of in my closet. Like I left it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I probably should have put it back in your closet. But yeah, we our neighbor borrowed mine, so I didn't have mine. So I went in and got yours. But that thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so going back to this, so when you have there's got to be that dichotomy, which means that balance, right? Of there's got to be structure and discipline, but there also has to be connection. And you and I like so. Can I share something with you that's super personal?
Yeah.
So, well, let me ask you this: when you and I have, and you might know the answer to this, but maybe you don't know the depth of it. When you and I have tough conversations where I would say I challenge you, lead you, coach you, I always go back to the Squire, always.
Yeah.
And the Squire guys, just so you remember, like that was the rite of passage that Ethan and I went through in 2022 at Bedros Koulian, and the last evolution of that 15-hour experience was Ethan was blindfolded through an obstacle course, and there was legit barbed wire, there was bear traps, there were obstacles that he had to navigate, and I was with him right in front of him. And the only thing that he could solely rely on was my clear communication of where every single obstacle was and how to navigate it. And you're really, really tested when you're like, hey, there's a bear trap in front of you, right? And but for someone who's blindfolded, they're like, well, how far is it? Am I about ready to step in it, or is it like 10 feet away, right? And in your mind, you're like, oh, it's right in front of you, right? And you're like, okay. And then you got to really get clear. You're like, all right, hang on, let me think about this. All right. Okay, so it's 5 paces in front of you. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to count your steps as you go, and I'm going to also let you know how far away you are from this. Okay, so 1, okay, you're doing good. 2, good. 3, that step was a little bit bigger. You're a little closer than what we thought. 4, okay, stop. Where you're at right now, you're more of a half of a pace, a half of a step. I want you to take a half step and stop. And then he would take a half step and stop. Okay, what I want you to do is and here's the other thing too. I would say something like, you need to move around the bear trap to the left. And of course, Ethan's blindfolded, and you'd be like, what does that even mean? Like, how far left do I go? And like, where's the angle at? Like, if I put my foot here, will I still step in? I'm like, okay, here's what you need to do, Ethan. You're looking right now, if you're looking at a clock, you're straight ahead, you're 12 o'clock. What I want you to do is shift your entire body and face 9 o'clock. So now you're completely turned to the left. Now what I want you to do is walk 4 paces just like you did to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Now turn back to 12. Now you are in the absolute clear of this bear trap. Walk straight, and I will be right in front of you, and I will count your paces so you continue to walk straight. Like, I'm not kidding around. your clear communication is so tested in that, because what you think is clear is not clear to the other person.
Oh yeah, like, and then especially like there was a part that I really struggled with, and it was really scary. It was when there was a bunch of barbed wire to my right and a bear trap to my left, and it was like a very narrow path. And when you can't see and you're trying to like almost like do like a sobriety test with like one foot in front of the other, like that is not easy to balance with.
It's not, and we weren't allowed to touch you guys.
No, but we obviously there were medics around. They weren't like, "Yep, good luck. Don't get your foot stuck in a bear." No, if I was close, they would have pulled it away. Like it was a legit bear trap, but it was going to be in a very safe place where they knew what they were doing, and even if something went wrong like that, they knew what they were going to do.
Exactly, yeah. And out of all the Squire events I've ever run, no one's ever gotten hurt in that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it was super easy.
They make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But they also allow you enough slack and to be like, and there's even coaches there to be like, you need to be clear with the communication. You need to be very, very specific. Like, so they were even coaching us, right? Because what we assume is good communication isn't. So, but the thing that I want to share with you is, since I grew up in an environment where there was, if you look at the extremes, right, of like disciplinary parent lecture, right, like fear-based parenting versus like, I'm your best friend and it's all about connection. There's no structure, there's no discipline, and it's all wild, wild west over here.
Yeah.
Like, because I grew up in this environment over here, and I know what it feels like to have no connection with your parents that you desperately want, my tendency is actually to overserve. I know that probably doesn't come across, but my tendency is like, I just want to provide more and more comfort. Like, that's my default. I just want to provide more and more comfort. So I have to like literally get in my own way and be like, I just can't do that. Like, that's not a good leader. That's not someone who's going to. So like, this is what I want you to think about as a parent. And we do this all the time in our alliance group, in the Dad Edge Alliance, and in the boardroom. So when you're going about life, right, and when you're going about like you're going about whether it's, you know, how you're operating in like your job, how you're operating with structure, you know, getting up at the right time, how you need to take responsibility for certain things in your life, right? And the thing that when people are operating, and I need this too, when people are operating, they have that blindfold on, or I would say blinders. This is how I see the world right now.
Yeah.
Like, right. And this is how I see my relationship with my girlfriend. This is how I see my bank account. This is how I see what I'm going to do for a living, or this is how I see this friendship, or how I'm going to go about faith, or whatever else. It's this. We see it one way. And what the job of a parent is, and I think also this is how I think you really measure your good friendships, is when we're like this, and I need this too, is like, hey, you're seeing the world in this perspective. We need to branch out just a little bit. And have you thought about these? In our group, we call them blind spots.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you don't see it, but I need to point it out. And in the Squire, it was called the bear traps and the barbed wire and the obstacles. So our job is to be like, hey, just so you know, there's a bear trap here. Potentially you could step in it. Allow me some guidance and some words and some time to pour into you so you don't step into that.
Yeah.
Right. But let's talk about more the conversation aspect of this and how to go about it, especially like as now you're an adult. So as a parent now, and this is, I'll share this with you, man. You know how you're trying to figure out how to be 19? Is it hard?
Yes.
Why is it hard?
Because like just being in this grind of becoming an adult it's not the easiest thing. Like this job that I just got, it's very high maintenance. Very like, if you don't show up on time, we will dock your pay. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't think you need to worry about that. Like, yeah, we'll see. I was like, you will see. Like, they're just like, will you show up on time? I'm like, yeah, I'm a wrestler. I'm very disciplined. There was probably one or two, maybe three times I was late to school while everyone else was sleeping in and showing up when they wanted.
Yeah.
I was disciplined enough to show up on time at school, even though I hated it and it was ready to be done. I still did it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, all right, we'll see. I'm like, you will see.
You will see.
Trust me.
I don't remember where I was going with that question.
You were just like, well, I can expand on what I'm trying to say, but that was just like that part of it. But you were basically asking like what's it like trying to become an adult? Is
Yeah,
that what,
you're right. You're
yeah.
right. And
But like
it's hard figuring it out, right?
yeah, like and this is like what I mean by the jobs thing. It's very real life. If you are late, you're fired, or you don't get enough money in your paycheck.
Yeah.
And other things like keeping your room clean, keeping your car clean. You gotta have a good environment, or else your mental health probably wouldn't be very good. You know. And then even just having the simple discipline, even when you're not working, to just get up at 8 a.m. on a weekday,
Yeah.
or and not sleeping till noon on a weekend, because that takes up your like half your day, and your days are shorter, and you don't get enough done.
Yeah. So it's quite a bit different trying to figure out post graduating high school. Now I need to plan my life, and this is difficult. This is
Yeah.
new ground.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
So I'll share this with you. Raising a 19-year-old who's going through that, it's new ground for me too.
Yeah, it is.
I've never done it, never, and I'm trying to navigate how to figure this one out right now.
When you figure it out, it'll be easier for the rest of them.
Well, granted, you're the guinea pig for all, but you know, there's a term that, and I love this term, and I learned it from one of our clients in the Dad Edge boardroom. We had a client in the Dad Edge boardroom who developed a business, created a business around creating rites of passage for fathers and sons called Dangerously Good Men. And I took Mason through that one. So I took you through the Squire. I took Mason through Dangerously Good Men. And he used this term that I think was so powerful. It's called liminal. It's a Latin term for, it's basically, we reach these points in our life, and you're at one of them right now. And when a young boy is usually between the ages of 11 and 12, it's liminal, because like suddenly they're no longer a boy, but they're not yet a man. So like suddenly their voice starts to change. They're starting to, grow like pubic hair. They're starting to become like a little man. They're starting to like notice girls. And friendships are starting to change. You're actually seeing this with Lawson in real time right now.
Yes.
And you're seeing
I'm
that.
noticing it.
Yeah, you are. And you can see he's a little lost, and he's trying to find his way. And that's a liminal point in a person's life, is like, what direction do I go here? And it could be a variety of things. It could be a friendship, a relationship, your faith, your finances, a job, the career you're going to pursue. Maybe even at your point, you're like, who am I going to marry? Like, I mean, it's like a lot of things. It's like there are like suddenly I've been walking this one path in high school, and I've been on this path. It's like, and it's like the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
And then you get to your point and you're like, there's a fork in the road. Like, where do I go? Right. So I think this is where a dad needs to be. This is where it's a liminal thing for a dad too, because you're like, okay, I need to be a guide, but I can't crank I can't crank the wrench so tight on what he needs to do, or she. They need to make that choice themselves, but I still need to be like a Sherpa.
Yeah.
You know what a Sherpa is?
The material on your coat. I know that.
Oh my God. I don't know if that's true or not, but
It
no.
is.
Okay. So you know the Mount Everest, right?
Yes.
You know the little like guides who are like,
Yes.
and they like put like 87 things on their back, and they somehow can make it up to the top without oxygen, because they do it. Like, that's what they do. They live there. That's a Sherpa. A Sherpa is the guide to the top of Everest. A dad can also be a Sherpa, right? A guide through life, right? Where the Sherpa is like, hey man, you do not want to step there. Don't step there, step here. This is how you navigate this next evolution. And if you look at Everest, there are several different things that
It's
they have
very
to.
overwhelming, but then they like break it down for you.
They break it down for you, and they tell you exactly how to navigate it, like what to do, what not to do. They'll tell you, hey man, like we need to stop for the night, or like we need to stop here and camp because you need to get rehydrated and rested. Otherwise you're not going to make it. Right. So like at this point in your life, and even back then, dads do need to be that Sherpa. Let me ask you this. During uncomfortable conversations, well, first of all, let's just say for what it is. Are they uncomfortable for you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you say that with like, okay, you say
Like,
that with
are
like,
you talking like between us, or just anyone?
No, just between us.
Oh,
Let's
I mean,
use me.
sometimes they can be a little uncomfortable, but honestly, I need them. So I'm not like the type of person like, okay, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm gonna go away. But no, I stay. I'm just like, okay, this is gonna be uncomfortable. Probably not gonna like what I'm gonna hear, but I'm here and I'm gonna listen.
Here's where maybe you can guide me
Okay,
and guide the other dads out there. Like coach us, okay?
I'll see what I can do.
So when I have conversations with you now, there's a part of me that it's like, I really see this bear trap. Like I see it, I know it. Not only have I seen it, I know it, I've lived through it. And the chances of me even saying I've lived through it, it's probably been multiple times. Right. And then you see your kid start to approach and traverse that bear trap. And as a dad, you're like, if I don't say anything, I'm a freaking dumbass. If I don't say anything, like I am a worthless leader in this young man's life. So, but the question becomes, how do I have that conversation effectively? Right? So, meaning like I could chirp in your ear all day long about like why this bear trap is not what something you want to step in. You really need to be careful with it, this, that, and the other. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to come to the conversation really, really curious and ask more about that bear trap and what do you see? This is what I see. What do you see? But I'm trying, help me out and help the other dads out there. I'm trying to strike a balance between when we have conversations like that. How do I ask you the right questions how do I ask you the right questions to get you to think about things versus me telling? So it's me more asking and you reflecting versus me telling.
Honestly, I think that's a good way to approach it like that because then you get to hear their side of like, oh, well, that doesn't seem that bad. But then you kind of go into like, well, I've done this before. I've experienced this, and you can go through it if you want, like, or something like that. And you can just say, listen, all I'm saying is that when I did it this way, it didn't go too well. But if you want to go through it how you want, you can learn the way you want to. But I'm just telling you. Or, like, do you know what I'm kind of getting at?
I think I know exactly where you're getting at. I just had a podcast guest talk about this. Is it helpful? Maybe we'll get to this. Is it helpful if I actually gave you a real world example of when I was growing up, like almost story tell of when exactly what I'm talking to you about, how it happened to me and how it played out and what it did to me?
Yeah, honestly, I'd prefer that because then I can get a real good perspective on how that example plays through with what I'm going to be going through.
I got it. Okay. So can I give you one example that I think is like the easy button? um, so let's talk about finances for a moment. You've been really, really good. We're not going to share how much money you've saved over the years because it's been a good amount. But I will say this. So like you've been pretty adamant about saving money, which is good. I didn't start what you started. When did you start? Was that 16?
Well, no, it was earlier than that.
I mean, you got a chunk of change in the bank, which is great.
I want to say 7th grade.
7th grade. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So roughly 13, maybe 14.
So that's about when we started your custodial accounts, right?
Yeah.
And now you've got a lot in there. But let's take that for example. No one ever taught me about money growing up. No one, right? I didn't even start investing in like my retirement 401k and savings, which is basically kind of what you're doing now, until I was 30. And I entered into the workforce when I was 24. I lost 6 years of savings. And I told you how finances work, that if I would have started 6 years early, I would have double the amount of money we have saved right now.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was start 6 years earlier, and it would, and minimal amounts, right? So like, for instance, like if I were to story tell that to you, be like, man, don't do what I did because right now I'm turning 50 and I'm going to be working for another 10 years. I would work anyway. But if I would have done what you're doing now at the age of 50, I could have been like, I'm done. I'm done. Like working. Like I'll maybe do what I want to do, but I'm done working. Like I'm just going to enjoy. We're going to travel. We're going to do this and do that. So storytelling like that, of like, if I were you, I would do this, and this is what happened to me. Is that
I would honestly prefer it like that because
okay?
then I can like really think about like, well, if he went through this, is that really what I want to go through? Is
Yeah.
that how I want to operate? Is this the direction I should probably be going in? You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
really gets me to think like, is this the right next step? Is this something I should experiment on? Or you know what I mean? I kind of once you tell me an example like something like that, I can then process it through my head, ask myself a few questions, and sometimes I will experiment on it and see how it goes. Other times I'll just be like, I don't know if I should do that. Maybe I should go this route. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
That
just
makes
keeps
sense.
me thinking. And like, I ask myself questions, and if it has more cons than pros, I'm not going that route. If it has more pros than cons, I'll try it. Or if it's like I'm definitely gonna try this. It has more pros than cons. I'm like, I'm going that way, and no one's gonna stop me.
You mentioned the pros and cons. Fascinating. You mentioned the pros and cons like
Yeah,
3 times in there.
yeah, we've done that before.
Was obviously what you're saying, was that really helpful?
Yeah, like if I'm like, okay, well, if I do this, and this could happen, that probably won't be good. But if I do this, and this, and like 50 more things, I'm just exaggerating, will happen. I'm like, as much as I don't want these cons to happen, this is gonna benefit me with like these things. I think I'm gonna try this.
I love where this is going. Do you think it was, and like even moving forward in like our relationship and how we talk, would it be helpful to have like something visual for us to like sort of like, I'm sitting here thinking like if we were to whiteboard it, be like, hey, let's break this down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've done that before
We
with
have, but
some stuff.
it hasn't been a lot, but yeah, we
No,
have a couple
I
times.
I do remember the first time you introduced that to Mason when he was doing Little League Wrestling, because he was like, I don't know if I should do another year, and he's like, well, let's list some pros and cons. If you have more pros, you should do it. If you have more cons, you shouldn't.
And
Or like,
he ended up doing it.
yeah, he had
Yeah.
more pros than cons, and he was like, okay, I'll do it, and he
Yeah.
did it.
And I remember I took a photo of the sheet
Yeah,
and I
I
actually posted it on social media. I
I
remember that.
remember that because I remember you taking a screenshot of it, and sending it to like our Hagner group chat that we have.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that.
Okay. So that's good. What about this? This is something that really emerged. So I think we also have to be really clear on what is your goal versus our goals for you as dads.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, if I were to like, let's go back to the finance question, and we could do this with, like I said, relationships, faith. We could do this with careers. We could do this with so many
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, all of it,
It's
right?
endless.
Endless. So what if we were to forecast, like if I were to do that conversation over with you again about finances, would it be better to start with the end in mind? Meaning like, hey, Ethan, if you had financial freedom at the age of 45, like you could literally make any decision you wanted, you could work or you didn't, would that be meaningful to you? Yes or no?
I mean, you.
Okay. So like literally at 45 years old, you could be like, I don't have to work if I don't want to. I've saved up so much money that I can live off what I've saved.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
Okay. And then maybe it would be an exploration of like, so if it wasn't important or meaningful to you, if you'd be like, no, I actually want to work till I'm 60. Like, I just want to do that. Right. I mean, that might be a thing.
Working till 45 sounds nice, but I think I could go a little longer and just make a little extra money just to be ready for, I guess, retirement when I become like 70.
What if the question was phrased like this? Would you like to have the choice of what you want to do and how you spend your time by the age of 45?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could work part-time if you wanted to. You could work full-time if you want to. But if you had so much money saved up, you could be like, I now have a choice. I don't have to. I get to do what I want.
Yeah.
So then it would be like, well, what would you do at that time? Like, and you don't have to answer that right now, but it's like an exploration of like, is this even meaningful to you? Right. And then once we have that, would it be meaningful for us to be like, then I could be like, well, let me share a story with you about my experience with this particular thing. And then let's explore what you want to do going forward. Is that more or less what the conversation you think could look like?
Yeah, actually, because then I get a better visualization of what I could be spending my time with at 45
Yeah.
in this example. Because to be honest, if it were my choice, if I have that kind of financial freedom, I don't think I'd want to be done just yet. Mostly because, like, what?
No, I'm just laughing because your mom says, she's like we we've saved over the years and all that good stuff. And I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, maybe I should just not work. And she laughs. She's like, that would last a week.
Yeah.
She goes, and then you would just have to go do something else. And she's right. I would, I think men need a mission. They need a mission and mastery. And, like as one of my oldest mentors said, there's only so many margaritas you can sip on a beach. And you're just like, I'm done with this. I need to go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if I had that kind of choice, I think I would still continue working, and I would look for a mission while I'm working. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
like, okay, well, what can I do with my time whenever I stop working? I could, like, I don't know, start finding a way to sell something, or I could find a way to, I don't know, connect with my future wife by going on this lovely trip. Like just finding something to do. Like, but I want to do that while I'm working, because I don't want to be like done with working. Like, well, now what? I don't know what to do now. I have so much free time on my hands.
Even using this as an example, like maybe it's not necessarily not working. It's the power of you get to choose. Like, and that's what that financial freedom really provides. It's not this lump sum of money that you've saved. It's actually like, I actually have a choice of what I can do. Like, because a lot of people at 45 years old, let's use that as an example, they're looking at, I can't retire till I'm 65. I am trapped in this job for the next 20 years of my life. I have no choice. And one thing that financial freedom, when you've been saving diligently for years, is that I actually have a choice.
Yeah.
Like I could maybe work 5 years if I want and be done, or I could, like Papa did the same thing. Like he actually chose to work as long as he did, but he could have actually retired 8 years earlier than what he did. But he was like, I kind of like what I do and I just want to keep going. And like, it's like, and I just want to retire. But he did, I think it was at 58. He was like, I could go now.
Yeah. But no, he stayed to like 60 something?
Yeah, he did. And then one of our other good friends here, who's a firefighter, we won't mention his last name, Doug. He was in the fire department for as many years as he could have been, and he had the choice to keep going or he could retire, and he chose to actually retire and do something else. But let's do this, because in the essence of time, because I know you got to get to a thing today. But let's wrap this up in a bow. I think let's really describe the dichotomy between what it means to be structured and what it means to be, I think, that trusted maybe Sherpa, confidant, guide, leader. Not your friend at times.
It's good to be a friend, but it's also, you gotta, like what we were saying, like discipline there's a fine line of discipline.
So let's take a stab at this. I want you to just take a moment and describe, what do you think what would be ideal for you? For like, if you were to say, Dad, if you were to strike the perfect balance of being highly structured, like, and holding me to a standard, right? Having conversations with me that are uncomfortable and not necessarily being my friend, and also having a really connected relationship with me. How would you coach me to do that?
I guess like whenever I need to hold myself to that standard, like what we agreed on, I guess a good way of like if I don't, let's just say I didn't wake up at 8 a.m. today, and it's a Friday, so I had to wake up at 8, and I don't have work today since it's 4th of July. I still had to get up at 8. I was disciplined enough to get up at 8, not just because of this, but because it was a weekday.
I wasn't going to wake you either.
Yeah.
I texted you saying like I was getting ready and all that, but I was like, because it was a late.
I got up at 7:30.
Did you really? That's awesome. I got
up at 7:30 this morning, and I got myself ready.
I'm really proud of you, because when I went in to take my shower, Jessica, our mom, was like, is Ethan up? And I was like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, she texted me actually while I was setting up. She's like, did you get up? I was like, yeah, I've been up. She's like, oh. I was like, yeah. I got up on my own.
Yeah.
She's like, I was worried that Dad was gonna have to wake you because you weren't up on time. I was like, don't yell.
No, you did. I'm very proud of you for doing that. But anyway, keep going. So hold the standard. Keep going.
Let's just say like I didn't hold the standard again, like I woke up at 9 again. I think there would be a good line of like, listen, man, this is not what we agreed on. I want you to like, kind of like what you have been doing. Like, you're just like, we did not agree on this. I'm very disappointed right now. And then you kind of like be like, well, this is not how life works. I'm giving you like some leeway because like life will kick you in the balls, and they will keep doing it until you give up. So I'm just guiding you. So I kind of like how you're disciplining me. You are like, listen, man, I'm here for you, but this has to be done. And if you're not doing this, there's going to be some consequences. And my consequences are nothing compared to out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You have said that. You said life will kick you in the balls, and if you keep letting it, it's just going to keep kicking you down until you give up. And it's not going to be pleasant at all.
It's true. Yeah.
And you're just like, and you also say like, I'm giving you some leeway, but I want to also let you in on this, like, because this is not going to be easy. Like, I don't want to have to like give you that discipline before you go out there, but I want you to be aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. So it's really holding the standard, holding the line, having uncomfortable conversations. Yet, and let's, as we wrap up here, let's talk about what's meaningful from a connection standpoint with you. Like, as far as like, if you could give me some adjectives on like when you feel most connected to me, it's like, man, like I love time with my dad. Like, what does that look like too?
I like when we like at the dinner table, sit down, eat some dinner, enjoy a nice, good conversation with the family. I feel really connected with you, even though you probably like, I wouldn't say yelled at me, but you were disciplining me in a very stern manner. But you are right, and I need to hold my end of the deal. But after those moments, we're still like, I'm here for you. I love you. I care about you. I don't want to see you go through that. And then we would connect, and then like almost like every night we talk. We enjoy some good conversations of like our day, how things are going between like me and Megan, how things are going with work, and it's a good time because I like to yap about.
I love that you do that. And we need to get back to that. I know our schedules have been a little off because like I've been getting up really early and I've been actually going to bed earlier, but I'd really like to get back to it.
Which is fine. I mean, I think you should, because lately it's been closer to midnight. It's been going to bed.
It's been a lot, and getting up super early. But well, this has been awesome, guys. We are going to have all the links in the show notes for you, so make sure you go check out. If you want to see that video that I posted, I'll have that in the show notes as well for you. But Ethan, thanks, dude. This was awesome. What a great conversation as always.
What a great day to start the day.
I know,
great
man.
Time to start the day
early. Like, let's go, man. So that's cool, gentlemen. Make sure you also check out our sponsor, First Phorm, stpphorm.com/dad edge. Use that code when you go to buy your supplements. Trust me when I say it really helps it really helps the show. It really helps pay for the expenses of the show. The show's not cheap. As far as the production goes, it's a lot of money every single month. So every little bit does help, especially this show, because it's more live in person and we have more tech involved. It's a lot, but that truly helps us out, and you're helping out a great local company and top of the line products as far as my opinion goes. So, gentlemen, from my heart to yours, go out, live legendary. Take care.